AI is transforming broadcasting by revolutionizing content creation, curation, and consumption. AI-powered digital storytelling leverages technologies like machine learning, natural language processing, and automation to enhance storytelling process. In this session, we'll explore how AI-powered digital storytelling is reshaping the content creation, curation, and broadcasting, the opportunities it presents for the creative and the efficiency and its future impact on the media production. For this session, I'd like to invite our moderator, Mr. Raj Kapoor, founder and CEO, India Blockchain Alliance. Sir, please. And, and next, I would like to call actor Nini Nitin Mukesh as the speaker of our panel. Uh, I would now like to call Dr. Jayanta Chakrabarti, Dean and Principal, Gibbs Business School, and Snehal Dhruv, founder and CEO, PYZ. Thank you.
Very good morning everyone. Sir, ऐसे सवाल पूछोगे तो डर लगने लगेगा. आप
ये वही है. I'm a normal person, not AI. All right, let's start with you. Everybody's waiting for you, so let's start. Filmmaker, your experience with AI, do you think it's doing anything to make things better, worse, or comes? It's still out there. Let's start with you. Let's keep this open, informal, not very structured answers. Let's enjoy this conversation.
Personally, I think my journey has been about now about 30 years. I started actually more than that about 35 years ago when I was a child star. I worked over 30 films. I've worked with 17 national award-winning directors. So I've seen the demography of films change in a major way. But like Gayatri ji and our esteemed panelists earlier mentioned, that in the last couple of years, AI has been almost a disruptor. And we're seeing the use of AI very well being placed, for filmmaking also. I personally feel that it's not yet reached where it's supposed to reach in vis-a-vis filmmaking. I don't think it might ever will, but that's a debate that we might be able to have. Only clearly because I feel that AI can lend, the content creators more technical aspect, whereas the human side of it is, the emotional, the religious aspect of it. So that's something that I'm not sure if AI will be able to generate.
I agree completely here. No one can replace human being as the early panelists said.
Right.
None of us are going to be replaced. Basically, at the end of the day, it's tool.
Right.
You use it as support. But in the last 31 years, which you said, you mentioned,
Right.
have you ever actually experienced it in India right now?
In India?
Yeah.
Well, I'm seeing it right now. Of course, not in films as much, as we speak. But for our presentations, yes. So I'm also a writer.
Okay.
We also do pitch our content to, prestigious production homes. I have one producer and a very dear friend of mine, Mr. Sharad Patel, who's sitting right in the front row. And in fact, we've collaborated on something that we are creating right now, and his entire team, Mr. Pramod Hegre, has lent his support for the AI generation of the presentation. I felt that the use of AI can be placed very well if we have to represent our perception and what we have in our mind to, to find, for the production house to understand what we are envisioning with our product. But eventually, I feel even that needs to be fed very well with what we need to put out there for it to be able to generate, correctly.
The right impact.
The right impact.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Fantastic. I'll come back to you once again. Joel, I have a question to you. How do you balance AI and human storytelling? We all know that AI, you're really good at that. You do a lot of work on AI. And what's your experience? Is the human getting defunct? Is it being more relevant? Or is it a wonderful tool for all of us human beings out here?
Thank you very much, sir. I think the answer has already been given by one of the speakers in the previous session that AI is not going to replace human beings. AI is going to replace human beings who do not know AI. Let me give my brief introduction, 2-3 lines. I'm a professor, I'm a dean and director of an institute. Only yesterday we inaugurated our AI Center of Excellence. Big proponent of AI. I'm also a doctorate in AI and digital marketing and analytics, and also I'm an engineer. Big fan of technology. And I'm a professor with difference. I'll explain. You have studied in schools and colleges, and your children are also studying. So normally, when a professor or a teacher enters the class, the first sentence is take away your mobiles, gadgets, and open your textbook, notebooks. My class is totally different. When I enter, my first sentence is open your mobile, open your laptop, open your tablet, connect with internet, and let's start. I highly advocate the use of AI. I encourage my students to use AI. But having said that, with a caveat, two things I advocate. One is responsible use of AI and ethical use of AI. We also have a software called Turnitin, and every project that student submits, we check, and if there is more than 20% of AI usage, that is rejected. So up to 20% it is allowed. Beyond that, it is not allowed. Now, what sir asked that what is the AI component coming up? Let me just give you one example to make you understand why we should not rely on AI. When I open my email box every day, the first email I get is grow your hair in 30 days. And you know, when you see my hair, you know why this mail comes to me. Now the question is, am I interested? Am I really interested to grow my hair in 30 days? Because I am a dean and director. What is my aspiration? I don't want to become a film star or a model or something. I want to become a vice chancellor. And vice chancellor needs to have less hair and more grey hair. So AI is actually making a mistake. It is pitching the wrong product to the wrong person. Okay, based on some algorithms and all. So I think, sir, the answer to that question is AI can be an enabler, but don't trust AI 100%. Human intelligence is much ahead of AI, and it will remain that way. Having said that, where is the danger coming from? The danger is coming not from AI, it is coming from ML, machine learning. AI, if it does not know anything, it learns it through unsupervised learning and supervised learning. We human beings, if we don't know something, we cover it up and let it go. And we repeat the mistake once again. That's what we are putting up right now. That when it comes to storytelling, when it comes to movies, when it comes to content creation, HI will always be ahead of AI because of the emotions that we have. That will be very difficult to bring into AI. But what is going to happen in days to come? It's very difficult to predict at this moment. But what we advise of everyone, please use AI in a maximum way, but use it ethically, use it responsibly, and don't make AI your master, make it your assistant. That's the way I think
Yes,
we should progress.
I agree with you. That also brought us to a very nice point here. He talked about responsibility, he talked about ethics. So we asked Nehal this question. Now here comes it's a $1 million question, and you got to answer this. I won't give you $1 million, but I'll still ask you a question. Ethics, responsibility. We talk about these words a lot. Now come, enter AI. It disrupts the whole ecosystem. Where there be strike a balance? Is there a way of striking a balance? Is there a way we can stop infringements? Is there a way copyrights cannot be infringed on? Just tell me, there's a lot of gray area here. When we talk about AI, we also talk about, I read this is mine. How do you balance that, especially now when it's rampant? Where are the checks and balances? What's happening? Are there any guardrails in place? Or what are we doing? So yeah, love you to ask that.
Sure. So correct segue to something that we are building as a platform. So I've been in the media entertainment space for the past 9 years, and what I've seen, we've done lots of fan engagement solutions for our customers. And in the early days, we were calling it automation. There were different formats. Now it's called machine learning to AI to different things. So we've seen that evolution come through and how it has brought efficiency in the process, but there are those risks as well. So when we spoke to lots of content creators, IP owners, yes, this was one of the concerns that our data is being taken without our permission. They are saying that because it is public information, you can just take it, train it, and then utilize it. But that's where some of the core responsibility comes in as well, that it is important to license using the right channels. Today, if you talk about guardrails, the guardrails are not there, right? It's unhinged. Everybody is taking whatever they can grapple. They are taking, YouTube content or voice of actors or anyone out there, and trying to manipulate that to generate content, which is not for the truest purposes. Gen AI was actually designed for more like practical usage, bringing efficiency in the process and creating for the good. But because these guardrails don't exist, it's right now being abused. And it's early days, it happens with all technologies. We had seen during the internet, everybody said, like things are going to like rapidly shift. There was abuse of that as well. But then eventually, when there were organizations and collaborations of cross-border coming together to define these guardrails as well. So internationally, there are like laws that are defined in like California in terms of how you can use data in what format and how do you create licensing channels to make sure it's licensed through ethics. So the way we look at a solution is how do we bring transparency and efficiency in the process, because today it doesn't exist, it leads to the abuse. So one of the solutions that we are working towards is how IP owners can come on a platform and say I'm willing to license it, but I still want my content digitally watermarked to say that it is still my property. So that's almost like stage one. Again, it's not going to happen overnight. The amount of content out there, it's going to take like few years to kind of circumvent all the content pieces out there and market. But it's like a start. You start any content that you starting to generate, you better watermark it, which is more machine readable and not just the visual identity. Because now there are tools as well that can remove the visual identity or watermarks. The second way it progresses is proper licensing channels and digitizing that process as well. Today, IP licensing is something that happens in a conversation, months of negotiation, and is drafted into contract. But how do you efficiently check that whatever it was, the permission was for, is it used only for that purposes or something about it beyond? But because this is digital IP, because it is digitized and programmatically controlled, you can actually start to define the guardrails that, hey, this, let's say, Neil gave permission only for creating financial content or something in a particular space and not for political or religious content. So it's building those authentication compliance tools to making sure that you're able to check and validate. And if the permission was for a limited time, also utilizing this digitization to bring those checks in. And then there, of course, the progression comes that once you kind of define the guardrails, you define the checks and balances, you actually provide the opportunity at large scale. Because, like as one of the previous panelists said, that everybody is a creator today. Everybody has a certain level of influence, and how AI can be used in your benefit is AI today is any questions that you ask is what they're going to respond. So all you have to get better is clear your basics out, your craft still plays a role, you ask the right questions, you expand your questions, the more details you provide, more relevant responses that you get, and that's how you use it in whichever space within a filmmaking area that you are. And that's where that piece gets interesting. But yeah, like right now, I think much of the research is required on defining these guardrails, putting these regulations in place, and making sure ethics stays as a core component. And how do you safeguard everybody in that in this entire environment?
Thanks, yeah, that was very enlightening because that's really critical. Like we talk about the creator economy, we talk about everything. You don't have the guardrails in place. We just having fun. That's all right now, and it's got to stop. Coming back to you, you say you've also been a writer. You are a writer, sorry, not just happy, you are a writer.
Right.
So, we have a Writers Association in India, right? We have it in Bombay, I think.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Do you think it has got teeth? Do you think technology can make a difference? Do you think, suppose we put in blockchain to actually copyright the story, will that help? Because I see a lot of issues out there still. A lot of people I know are in that space. So have you had that experience? Do you think any of these technologies, not just AI, but even say blockchain, can actually prevent any misuse or give the due rights to the writers? Because I think writers play a very critical role in any industry, in the creator economy. But if they themselves are not protected, it's going to be a problem.
So no, I completely agree on the fact that if there's technology to kind of protect IP that's being created by writers, there's no doubt about it. Also to just put some light onto a few aspects of what's named and also highlighted is, AI needs to be used correctly. Um, for example, if AI was used in a film like Fast and Furious, unfortunately after the demise of Paul Walker, to recreate his character, that kind of makes sense. But actors being replaced, voices being replaced, writers being replaced, writers, I have a phone right now. If I punch in 4 words right now and I ask for a synopsis, I'll get a 10 pager from Meta. How do you differentiate between an actual writer who's put thought behind a story? He's got his beginning, his mid, his end, versus something created by Meta that has been created in less than 30 seconds. So while we speak of copyrights that are going to safeguard a writer or his thought process, it takes me 1 year to write a film. Rather than I mean through a process where it's taking me 1 year. In fact, I3G and I were previously associated with something that I was developing for them earlier, and I had written something out for them. That particular subject took me 1 year to write. And of course, not many people know that I write as well because, I showcase my acting talents and I stay a little shy away from my writing talents as it. But while we are developing stuff and when we talk of, content being created over years, how are we going to fight this battle of people coming? I have people coming up into my studio in my office and presenting me scripts, and trust me, the first 10 pages I can tell you that that's not his writing that's being generated. Their punctuations, their commas, their grammatical corrections are perfect, but the emotions are still lacking. So, needless to say, of course, there has to be, but that also is being consumed.
Yes.
So it's not like there aren't production homes, there aren't people who are consuming that content also. So what about those people who've been spending that kind of time? Yes, of course, unfortunately, from the question that's been arised and asked, there are times where you can develop something, you can tweak a little. Uh, I don't know if AI can really help in safeguarding that IP. That is just a human element, and that's something that I might be able to fight if I go to my association and if I can put my point across that listen, I narrated this story to somebody and he's gone and tweaked the story and developed it. AI might not be able to help me on that front. Is probably
Blockchain probably can at some point. But yes,
blockchain probably can.
probably can.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
So then, it's all work in progress. Lots of
Right.
work in progress, and I
तब तक वो
think
फिल्म बन जाएगी ना
AI की फिल्म तो और ही बन जाएगी.
मुझे भी तो वही डर है unfortunately होता क्या है कि industry by the time a process of the film actually starts, by the time you go out there to a production, they're convinced, you start budgeting of films, you start putting into production, you shoot a film, you get into post-production. It's a long process, it takes about a year, and sometimes to get greenlit, it takes about a year, 2 years. We've been fighting this battle for almost a year, We had Sir speak about our contents being consumed all over the world right now. Trust me, I've worked on all kind of films. Whether it's a Johnny Gadar, which was a 2.5, 3 crore rupee film, to a Saho, which is a 450 crore rupee film. But I've seen a lot of struggle with a lot of good content where people still are debating, production houses are still debating on whether they want to consume content or whether they want to consume good big names who can back that content. So there might be a debate on that front also. I mean, I agree that there is, good festival films being made out there. Internationally, people are not really bothered about big names, but the production homes that are backing us out here still ask me also to get bigger names onto a platform. So, in a retrospect of while we're talking and discussing everything in ways of filmmaking, AI can contribute just about that much. Of course, human, approach to everything matters a lot more.
Completely. It's basically you've got to see AI as a tool. You can do anything with a tool. If I give you a hammer, where you can make some good furniture, or you can hammer my head as well. All things are possible. It's up to you what you do with it.
I agree, sir.
Right? So either, and I said, you can either build bridges or you can build walls. A tool is only an enabler. So we must take it as an enabler, nothing more, nothing less. But coming back to that, Journal, I have a question. You worked a lot on AI. We both, all of us at some stage, worked a lot on the AI space. One challenge which I'm sure a lot of us are feeling is the bias, AI bias. There is a huge issue with bias. And have you tried creating Indian content? It comes out terrible sometimes. Even illustrated content for that matter. What do you have to say to that? Where are we on that stage of bias? Not only, it's not gender bias, it's there are plenty of cultural, social, economic. So what's your stance on that? What do you have to say on that? And what yours?
Very interesting, Raj. It's a very interesting question. As I said, please do not blindly trust AI because AI also has a lot of vulnerabilities and it can lead you to the wrong way. And what sir has rightly pointed out, the bias part. Okay, so AI is actually created by human beings, and why this bias comes? Let me point out another interesting feature of AI. It is called hallucination. Okay, AI hallucinates. What AI does is, if AI does not know an answer, it will create an answer. Okay, and that's where probably the bias and other things comes because it is not coming from facts. It still is, right now it's there. Okay, let us admit that the bias is there and a lot of controversies have been created with AI and metaverse and Facebook itself was into a lot of controversy regarding that. But having said that, what I said a little while ago, there is another component called machine learning. Okay, so if AI is making a mistake, it is correcting that mistake also. So in due course of time, we can see a better AI coming up. Okay, a better version of AI coming up, which may be free of the bias and whatever things are coming up. But the danger is not actually the bias, the danger is mechanization of human beings. So I just, another small example I'll give you and that might illustrate is that when I was a child, I used to see my parents, all the mohalla used to come to our house or we used to go, our whole mohalla had one television. So we all used to watch a movie together. Okay, Sunday 5:30 the movie used to come. Today every house has got 4 to 5 televisions. None of them are used, it's just a piece of furniture. And how they interact with each other is father, mother, daughter, son is sitting in front of each other and everyone with the mobile phone. They are not looking at each other, they are not talking to each other. The husband is wishing the wife happy birthday through the Facebook and the wife is replying to the Facebook. They are sitting in front of each other but emoting through the Facebook. We don't meet our friends, we wish them through WhatsApp and all that. That is the danger, it's not the bias. The danger is coming up with the mechanization. Are we losing the human touch? What Neil sir just now said that there are a lot of human emotions which has to come in the story. Okay, so are we slowly losing that humanization? Are we losing that human feelings? Are we getting guided by AI with gratifications and all materialistic things and running after things which probably is making the human society a little dangerous? That's the question I think we all need to address.
Absolutely. Snehal,
Yeah.
you know, I'm going to ask one of your favorite questions. Ownership. AI story ownership. Okay, yeah, write the story. Neil said, and even in 10 minutes I'll have something to write. Not even 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 4 months, 5 minutes, you have a story. Who owns that story? Where is the ownership there? Who's going to register it? What are the ethical implications of it? किसकी कहानी है? सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम ये है किसकी कहानी है? And as we say, I've been hearing since donkey's years, दुनिया में सिर्फ 7 कहानियाँ होती हैं. If that's the case, have we been infringing copyrights all this time? Or now with AI, who holds the baby now? You tell me. What's your thought?
So I'll take a viewpoint that it's all about storytelling, right? In the end, you can generate stories, you can generate narratives, but it is important about how well somebody tells a story. So actually, that is the true ownership where it kind of comes to. But coming down to the basics, that while AI and all these tools are helping in efficiency in that kind of creating this content, it is all about something that you highlighted earlier, that technologies like blockchain can actually be used to bring transparency and accountability into the entire process. So think it of today that as you're generating content, as you're using different tools, and if you think it's worthy enough that you can claim it as your own, or you feel that you've got to the right viewpoint about the right POV of telling the story itself, then you go on to today the platforms don't exist. I think it's still in early stage, and that's one of the other challenges that we're trying to solve for. That you come on a platform, you basically say that I almost want to trademark it, or I want to say that hey, this is my origination, and basically then put it out to the world. So anybody will even, let's say, like one of the things that they use within the institution is checking that has it been generated with AI, and maybe 20% should be the AI component while 80% should be human. Here also is the same thing, that there are various tools that can be used, that what is the AI component and what is the human element, and that's how you kind of classify that data and provide more insights. But yeah, it's not an overnight problem to solve for, using technologies like blockchain will only bring almost accountability and responsibility in a public domain, where like we are working with lots of big, large social media platforms, where they can come and check and authenticate that was this content ever licensed to XYZ. So what that simplifies is, and it's not just larger platforms, even an individual can come and check that was this content AI generated or not, was this content licensed through proper channels, or somebody just created some fake content. And right now there are also associations and council working towards that. There is something called Deepfake Analysis Unit, there is Misinformation Combat Alliance. So there are many of these organizations and which are collaborating together as well to build that joint solution. So it's almost solving for an ecosystem and building an operating system that is more inclusive and brings everybody at the same level to bring the transparency to everyone who's involved in the process or who's trying to make a living in the process as well.
I'll tell you something which is happening in Nigeria right now. I'm surprised it's happening in Nigeria. I'm working on that project and I'm sharing this with you, taking off from where Snehal said. We are creating a complete platform which generates AI-based content, not necessarily movies, AI-based content, short movies, short films, etc. on the blockchain, because blockchain now logs and audits it at every second, every moment. So you know the authenticity of the AI-generated content. That is good use of technology. And the best part is, they've created this platform and they've got 107 movies on it. When I say movie, they're all over 30 minutes. And there's no human intervention at all there. They're right to the story, the music, the background score, the screenplay. Does that mean we lost all these jobs out here? No. It's actually created more jobs for the Nigerians out there, and more people are now entering the industry, which is now adding to their national economy and their GDPs. In fact, we were cited a few years back, a year and a half back, specifically by the government for doing something which actually generated employment. So, a lot of people say we will lose jobs with AI, or we lose the human touch with AI. No. At the end of the day, you and I are operators. What's a calculator? Who uses the calculator? Does it calculate itself? Does it tell you your net worth itself? No, it doesn't. Does the computer tell you something itself? No, it doesn't. Who does that? All of us out here, all of you out here. Coming back now, that was just the experience picking up how you copyright, and how you try and make a little more method in the madness out here. You know something? Before, I didn't know you were coming for this here. Somebody created a complete, they used my name. Your dad sang many songs for my namesake.
I was going to point that out. The moment I came and I met you, I was going to say, Raj Kapoor ji and Mukesh ka to bahut purana
sambandh hai. And mind you, I have 14 songs, all made by people. I have not sung a single one of them. They've actually made a compilation.
That's fantastic.
Starts with Kisi Gira Muskaan.
Yeah. In fact, I've had Prime Minister Saab also has, in fact, is one of his AI-generated voices with one of my grandfather's songs.
There you go.
That was sent across to me.
Sent across, yes. So, somebody used Mukesh's voice and used Raj Kapoor's name and made a modern day sea waves.
So, but that, having said that, sorry I'm interrupting on this one. Again, like Sir had earlier mentioned, and I thought that was a very scary statement that he had passed, that you might not need actors to dub.
Yeah.
I mean, what happens when an actor has gone there and he's performed? Today we have contracts out here that say that you'll get a certain tranche after you finish your dubbing, and producers hold back a lot of amount. I mean, a substantial amount of money on the point of dubbing. Tomorrow, hypothetically, there's some kind of issue and you have your actor's voice being dubbed. How do you go out there and safeguard that? Are contracts going to be made now that no use of AI? Are actors going to be supposed to be doing that as well? I mean,
No, it's a very good question. It's a very scary question. Scary. I think Snehal has an answer to that because he's doing some work on that. Snehal, why don't you talk about that? And you talk about the smart contracts also.
Sure.
Embedded inside.
Yeah. So the way we see it, that yes, there are risks, and I think we've spoken a lot on the challenges it possesses, but there is lots of opportunity as well. That if you use it in the right sense. So while the reference here was for dubbing, you no longer need the original artist itself, but that is also can be part of your contract where it minimizes your effort, right? So somebody holding you back for the dubbing process, the financial component, now it basically unlocks dialogue. So it can also be fastening the process in terms of how you get paid. What happens on the other side, it removes the liability and frees your time up to do actually much more than you think, or experiment much more than you can, and all in a combination. So it's up to like talent as well, and I think we spoke about some elements there. That it's how you use AI for yourself to empower you. I think that's going to be the opportunity here. While there are always challenges to every piece of technology, anytime a big shift happens in the technology paradigm, there is always concerns that jobs will be taken over, opportunities will go over, and things might not exist. But yeah, the status quo will change. It's rapidly changing. It's just how the empowerment happens. How do you structure it into an opportunity for everybody involved? How do you safeguard? And one of the viewpoints that we have as well, that we are building a platform where any of the creators, influencers, celebrities can come on the platform, they license, they upload a sample data, and then on the other side, whether a production wants to use it for something or some business applications, they can officially license via the platform. So there is both compliance, security, and transparency through the entire process. So the creator constantly knows what content is being generated on the other side. If the comfort is not there, they can basically take that content down, take that permission away, and say, hey, it's not a desired output. Because one of the challenges today as well, while AI can generate voices, it's not up to a certain mark. It doesn't have the emotions. It doesn't have the while there could be opportunities of multiple language content that can be generated, the original artist can only dub in Hindi or English or certain languages. But what it provides by cloning your voice, I can actually generate 8 different languages from your voice. So I'm actually multiplying your creativity also. And that basically brings that, rather than content today, and we see all the time right now more than often, that content is not released in one language. They want to tap into Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, whichever languages that you can think of. So what AI can help you cross-pollinate the content into every available language today and make it much more accessible.
That makes my life easier.
Yeah, exactly.
I have done multiple pan-India films.
Sir, I want to share one point. I read an interview, I don't know, please correct me if I'm wrong. It was by Lata Mangeshkar ji, and she said that when I used to sing with Mukesh ji and Manna De, Kishore Kumar, we used to share a single mic. Single thing we used to share, and it used to get recorded live. But when I started singing with Abhijit, Kumar Sanu and all, I used to go to the studio, sing my part and go home, and then someday Kumar Sanu would come and sing his part and go home, and then it will be mixed and that will be technologically made superior and all that. So I feel, sir, has voiced a concern that will the value of the artist go down if we use AI for voice dubbing? I think one of the ways to protect is that what Raj Kapoor sir is saying is NFTs. Suppose I want to use Neil sir's voice in my movie, I purchase his NFT. And then I use it. He gives me the license that I use it in whatever way I want, but he gets his royalty because I'm using his voice. Okay, so that could be a solution where we use a technology platform not to harm the interest of artists. Having said that, let me tell how AI, I actually spoke negative about AI till now, but let me speak positive also. Okay, in India, it's a hard fact, we have never respected IPR, intellectual property rights. We have pirated movies, songs, books, paintings, we have pirated everything. Today, because of NFT, we are having a opportunity to actually preserve that IPR and use the IPR in the right way. Okay, so with NFTs and other technological blockchains and all, it's not so easy to pirate and use it in the wrong manner, and there are checks and balances which can be proven. So yes, all technological advancements, AI, everything has got a darker side, but it has got a positive opportunity also. So these kind of forums and with all intellectuals sitting here, we should actually brainstorm together, look at the opportunities. Can we leverage it and create something better which was not there yesterday? Okay, that is the.
Sorry, just to add to the theme, talking about more pros now, moving in that direction. So my personal experience, so I have a 10-year-old daughter now to be 11 soon. One of the things that is changing is how my daughter is consuming content. If you think about one of the features on Netflix, there are interactive stories. It is actually a very good bonding time with my daughter. That she's like, hey, Papa, let's sit and let's watch this content. And then, like, I had heard of it but not experienced it, even though being at that side. But she actually, we sat across the TV and now we're making decisions. That should the pony be going to the forest or it should be going to the city? And as this technology evolves, right, and the right adaptation happens, it actually can factor in as well that hey, my daughter is 11, my son is 8. What is contextual for them to consume, and what is much more enhancing as well. And adding the element of, let's say, I want my daughter to learn this out of this content. Now using AI, you can actually drive to that message as well and make it more purposeful. Because sometimes much of the content is just junk, right? You're just scrolling through and it might not impart a value, but if used in the right way, you can truly unlock it from that standpoint. And I think being a technologist, yes, you always enthuse about that, but I think this personally experiencing it, even at how the new generation is adopting, and I feel old already mentioning the next generation, but they are like having an alternate viewpoint. They are also seeing the pros of it or how they want to engage with content. It's not about we used to say a saying that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but people can have different viewpoints, and not one content can relate to all. But actually, what AI can unlock is yes, beauty is truly in the eye of the beholder. So it's up to them how they kind of engage with that content, what direction they can take, and expand the story. So now the magic is not about creating one content for millions, but it's actually creating millions of content, one for each.
Okay, so now we're wrapping up now. I have a last question. Let's keep a little rapid fire in this sense, literally. Starting from your opinion, 2 things that you would like technology to do. Let's talk about the good things of technology. There is the dark side, there's the bright side. That's the yin and yang of everything. What are the 2 things that everybody has to give me the 2 things that they would like to see in the future by using technology, not just AI, any technology. You go first.
2 things.
Any 2 things. I was saying 3, but then let's make it 2.
Okay. I think the use of technology vis-a-vis recreating an actor, or like Sneha had mentioned about deepfake technology. I think deepfake is very interesting if it's used correctly. We can recreate the existence of an actor that's gone by, and then maybe have him in the presence. We can recreate stories with him, as especially for biopics, etc. If we have to use technology, it kind of enhances and then gives us a lot of wings to fly with. I think from that perspective, one way definitely. From an edit point of view, I feel also technology has to move way faster. A lot of time consumed is on the edit and on the post-production of the film. So if technology is used correctly and if it's fed correctly with the data that's been written, so your technology can be preemptive about what and how it's needed to be lined up. Of course, you need the human element of it being sliced correctly, but at least we save a lot of time that's being consumed over putting our data onto the platform and kind of relaying it. I feel these two ways technology.
I agree with you. Like the first thing, and I'll tell you something which is happening. Your first question, so almost you can say granted. I don't know how many people know. Okay, I live in Goa, by the way. Okay, so I'm one of the luckiest guys in the room out here. In Goa, it's a very large, very big event that happens every 12 years. Does anybody know what that is? No. So I'm going to get back in this thing. so what happens is the Goans are very, very passionate about Saint Francis, whose body is lying in a crypt in Mount Jesus Church. Every 12 years, that is taken out, and all people, come from all over the world. This year, we have recreated Saint Francis.
See,
I have it on my mobile right now. Okay, it came yesterday. We created that, and there on a huge screen, everybody will be able to actually know the story of Saint Francis, not just see his body. While they're doing that, the screen is, they can actually go to the screen and ask him questions.
Oh my God.
We've done that. We've done that with 170 plus entities, and for Goa for the first time, we're launching that in Goa, November coming. And if that's something you're using technology.
That's fantastic.
That's for good. The people know.
I feel also humans have, I mean, I'm a very family oriented person, very emotional also about my family. Of course, a lot of fears as we all grow up. We've missed all the ones who passed on and gone by. We miss them, on a daily basis. I feel technology can be used very sensitively out there also to keep them alive, keep their memory alive. The best moment of my day is when I go back home and I see my daughter sitting with my father doing the riyas. So now again, like Sneha earlier mentioned about spending time with his daughter over Netflix. I do that too, but that's a little bit of a fear factor there because I see her also spending a lot of time with technology and disconnecting. So I have to keep dragging her back into, and checking her away from technology and away from her iPad, which unfortunately is also part of a school regime now. So I make sure that she spends time with her grandmother doing, aarti and puja throughout the year. She does it throughout the week, spending time with with her grandfather. But she hasn't ever met her great grandfather. I've never got the opportunity of meeting my grandfather. Technology brings at least that, bridges that little gap. I feel that's amazing.
Okay, very quickly, Jorendo, two of your wish lists and then Sneha, two of yours before we wrap up.
It's a suggestion I can tell you that if you look at everyday tasks that we do, there are two kinds of tasks we do. One is rudimentary task, we do it because we have to. Other is the creative part. So we can actually give the rudimentary part to the AI and focus on creative because as I keep on saying, AI is much ahead of AI. Second part, which in the previous forum was also discussed, is collaborations. So here a filmmaker from Mumbai can collaborate with Hollywood and other countries in a much better way using technology. So these are my two takes which can be very effectively used using technology.
Sure. So being a technologist, I'll use example of what excites me. So I'm wearing something called Ray-Ban Meta glasses. They have cameras over here. And one of the great applications that I've seen is Eyes for You. So there is an international foundation which basically builds assistive technology to help the blind see the world or describe the world. So something that was showcased 2 weeks back at MetaConnect was, blind people essentially can wear this and they can just ask, hey Meta, what am I seeing? Or, it can be continuously on to kind of provide them visual context that hey, a vehicle is coming, or providing precautionary information to them in real time as well. So I think that really excites me and is a good application of technology to a relevant audience. The other is usually the challenge that I personally face is I'll connect with somebody on WhatsApp or digitally, and we are connecting more and more people online. But when the person is actually there in front of me, I can't connect. While there are privacy issues and all, but let's say for Ganesh as well, right? Ganesh, I've always seen him in beard, but today he's clean shaved. So I couldn't get to that. Oh, it was really Ganesh or what?
Sorry, Brown, not Ganesh.
But then, enhancing as I'm in the real world, providing me some contextual information, of course, consent based on both sides. In terms of providing me, enhanced value of that, I think that excites me of how hardware with applied technologies can expand the horizon and applications of how you engage with real, but not again too intrusive that you're wearing a full headset and you can't see what's happening in the real world. So providing that good blend and good application is what excites me in this space.
So I think in conclusion, I can say you might think AI, great stuff, but actually you've got to always put the human between technology. Without the human, there's no AI. At the end of the day, NI, native intelligence, is what really counts. That we conclude the session, guys. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Kapoor. I would request Mr. Sharad Patel, CEO Cinecop, to give token of appreciation to our panelists. Thank you.